Lately, the Kingdom Hearts fan base has been all a tizzy, voicing the same complaint with 1,000 voices. Square, when we said we wanted Cloud in Kingdom Hearts 3, this isn't what we meant. The Kingdom Hearts series has finally come to Nintendo Switch, but with the big old asterisk right here, and people are none too happy about it. I've seen many people asking, why is Square elected to release the games in this particular manner? I'm pretty sure I know why it's being released like this, and I'm gonna try my best to explain it to you. It's gonna take me a couple of minutes, so stick with me. First of all, if you've clicked on this video in the first place, you probably already understand this, but I'm gonna give a very brief, quick overview of what exactly cloud gaming is for anybody who may be a little bit confused or doesn't know. Basically, if you're playing a video game through the cloud, what that means is that the game isn't actually running on your console or PC or whatever device you're using. The game is actually running on a computer bank somewhere else, in a data center somewhere, and that video feed from that game is being sent out of that computer through the internet and then down into your game console or other preferred device. The main advantage of this model for consumers is that it would enable you to play even the most cutting-edge, sophisticated new games on relatively rinky-dink hardware, because all that hardware has to have is an internet connection and the ability to stream video. The main disadvantage of this setup is obviously that everything is running over the internet. So even if you're living in a major city with a pretty solid internet connection, there is gonna be some delay between what you're seeing and what's actually happening. And there's gonna be a further delay between you making an input on a controller and that actually being delivered to the computer that's running the game. This obviously doesn't negatively affect slower paced games as much as it does fast-paced action games, but to be fair, fast-paced action games are usually the more technically sophisticated games that would be the things that people would want to benefit from the cloud service in the first place, of not having to run it on their own hardware. The point is that cloud gaming is kind of useless, especially useless for fast-paced games like Kingdom Hearts that are mostly PlayStation 2 and PlayStation Portable games that the Nintendo Switch could probably run very easily. To be completely fair, Kingdom Hearts 3, the most recent entry in the series, did only come out a couple of years ago, and it was a PlayStation 4, Xbox One game. I imagine the Nintendo Switch would have a pretty hard time running this game, so I could see selling this as a cloud game on the Nintendo Switch. The rest of the collection doesn't really make so much sense. Keep in mind that these collections are available in normal, non-cloud format on PlayStation 3, 4, and 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series, the new Xbox, and on PC. You have to go through the Epic Games Store to get to them, but they're on PC. The main advantage of having the games on Nintendo Switch at that point basically just comes down to either A, someone who only owns a Nintendo Switch and nothing else, and they want to be able to play Kingdom Hearts, or B, the more likely thing, that people want to be able to play the games on the go, which you can't do with a cloud version of the games because it requires a consistent, stable internet connection. Also, the Nintendo Switch has like the worst internet setup of any of these because the Nintendo Switch has no default Ethernet connection. You actually have to buy a separate adapter to be able to use the Ethernet, and even then you can only play it in docked mode on a TV, which is the same as playing it on any other console. People were saying all of this stuff about why putting cloud versions of the games on Nintendo Switch was stupid in the first place. Really, why putting a cloud version of any game on the Nintendo Switch is kind of pointless and stupid. But things got worse I think a few weeks ago. I don't know, time is meaningless. A few weeks ago when a demo for the cloud version of the games was released on Nintendo Switch. People actually got their hands on it. How did it run? Not good. The effectiveness of this service is always going to be capped by the inherent limitations of internet connections, the instability of internet connections, your particular location, how close you are to whatever, computer is actually running the game. So there's always going to be limitations to this no matter how many fixes and improvements are made. So what's the deal? I've seen people asking a lot over the last couple of weeks. Why have they chosen to do it this way? I hope you like long stories. You get it? It was like the thing that the guy said at the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3. It's not actually going to be that long, though. As per usual, it comes down to money. Some of you guys may remember at the beginning of the year, the president of Square Enix released a New Year's letter that was primarily for shareholders, but was released publicly. It got some headlines because he talked a lot about NFTs and blockchain gaming and other stuff, and There was a lot of hoopla over that, but I didn't see nearly as many people talking about how much he had to say on cloud gaming in the letter. Reading some quotes directly from the letter here, we are exploring potential efforts in the cloud space from two primary perspectives, the first being leveraging cloud technologies to distribute content, and the second being developing content that offers customers new forms of excitement enabled by the cloud's attributes. Leveraging cloud technologies is extremely effective as a means of making our content and services uniformly available, and as a catalyst for creating new forms of excitement that expand upon the content development capabilities for which we are known. As such, we are making ample investments in the cloud space. But gosh, just something about this seems so familiar. It's on the tip of my tongue. I feel like Square Enix has invested heavily in cloud technologies before, and I feel like they may have lost $16 million on it. Back in 2014, Square did invest heavily in the cloud gaming scene when they started a company called Shinra Technologies. And yes, they really did name it after the evil corporation from Final Fantasy VII for some reason. Now, if you haven't heard of Shinra Technologies, that's because they closed down in 2016, and as I said before, posted a loss of $16.5 million. Now, Shinra Technologies had a little bit less to do with cloud gaming in the sense that we discussed a second ago, whereby a conventional game is simply running on one machine and is beamed to another machine. It was more about researching and developing unique experiences that could only be possible with the power of the cloud and other nonsense buzzword crap. Though Square did actually have a company previously, which did do the type of gaming cloud stream that we talked about a second ago, sending a game from one location to another. They had a service only in Japan that would let you stream games onto iOS devices. It was called Dive In. It also closed down. Now, Shinra Technologies, despite having 3 international offices and collaborating with 3 different third-party developers, never shipped a product of any kind. And also, while we're at it, seriously, you guys named it after the evil corporation, come on. There are so many famous Final Fantasy things that could have worked better. How short was that meeting? Could have done Summoner Gaming, Summoner Technologies, because, you know, you were sending stuff around through the internet. Could have done freaking Sky Pirate Gaming. Maybe they wouldn't have liked pirate, because that, like, they would associate that. They would have had some focus group tell them they associated with piracy or some crap. The Magitechnologies, dude. And this is before we factor in that you have not 1, but 2 major characters named Cloud. I feel it's important to restate that they lost $16.5 million on this, but that their marketing team apparently only met for 10 minutes. But never fear, dear gamers, because if Square has learned one thing over the last several decades, it's if at first you start a major new company which causes you to lose millions of dollars when it fails, fail again. The fact of the matter is, saying a bunch of buzzwords to shareholders and promising them that you're investing in new technology that may pay off somewhere down the line is a quick and easy way to get your share prices to go up. So NFTs, blockchain gaming, cloud gaming, the metaverse, it's all trending, so boom, we're heavily investing in it. But we need to be able to assure people that this is not just gonna be a repeat of Shinra Technologies, where we lost a bunch of money. What we need is a successful product launch up front. I hate to break it to you, Kingdom Hearts fans, but your brand loyalty is currently being exploited to prop up the launch of a shaky business to make sure that share prices actually go up before this one inevitably tanks a couple years from now too. They sold well on PlayStation 3, they sold well again on PS4, they're selling well on PC, and people are still, they can't get enough. They're begging for a Nintendo Switch release. What's more surefire? What old product can we release in an inferior format and still ensure a successful launch? Well, these games continue to sell like hotcakes, and they're not on the Nintendo Switch. It's a ripe, exploitable market. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's dreadfully simple, I'm afraid. Guy in Square Enix boardroom needs a successful product launch to justify investing in this field again, and Guy working in a new, as far as I know, currently unnamed and unannounced cloud business needs a successful product launch to continue to justify his and his team's paycheck. This launch is going to be successful no matter what. Kingdom Hearts being available on a Nintendo system, it's gonna sell really well. It's too late for that. But you don't have to participate. You don't have to buy it. The games are on PC. They're on every PlayStation system since the PS3. They're on Xbox. You can access these games elsewhere. I promise. You don't need to buy them on Nintendo Switch. You don't even have the advantage of being able to take it and play it anywhere. Forget about it. They are inferior versions of the product that will disappear when the servers are taken offline, and you are being charged premium price for them to maintain those servers and to help support the launch of a business that you don't care about and that is unrelated to Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, that's about the size of it. Don't buy these versions of the games. I guess I'll see myself out now. The chair didn't go low enough for that gag to work. Howdy folks, a quick word. After editing this whole thing down, I realized that I come across a little bit too confident in this. The only time where I mention this is what I think is happening is at the very beginning. This is just a theory. I don't have any firm, concrete proof. It's too plausible a theory for me to ignore, but it is just a theory, so take it with the appropriate dosage of salt. Also, before you leave that expected comment about, oh my gosh, I can't believe Jacob is back from the dead, haha, you fool! I never went anywhere. It's true that I've been very busy with a new job of late and haven't posted anything here on the main channel, but there has been stuff going on over on our second channel, Research Runs. We're playing through the Uncharted series right now. We just started up our playthrough of Uncharted 3, played through Psychonauts a little while ago, playing through Lego Star Wars. We've got a show that's kind of a podcast. I still don't really know how to classify it, and though I will continue to be very busy, so uploads here and over there will be a little bit sporadic. Yes, expect more stuff in the near future, hopefully, I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching.